All right. Yesterday, before work, no, during work, I was working, just thinking about the future of my animation channel projects. My animation channel projects, okay? And I realized the future of that animation project, that fan series I'm making. And it was actually starting to really, stress me out, hurt me a bit. Because the future of it doesn't seem like it's right. I mean, as far as the production of it, okay? I'm mainly specifically talking about voice actors, okay? And it got me really thinking about my entire life, okay? My entire life of, the things I'm interested in, all right? So, if you all know, if you're a super OG, the super OG of being a viewer or fan of my content from 11 years ago, okay? But those of you who don't know, all right? I'm an 11-year-old YouTuber. I like Sonic the Hedgehog, video games, Nintendo, Sega, all that stuff. Trains, roller coasters, science fiction. That's my go-to. I'm a nerd, okay? I'm a nerd. As I'm only saying I'm a nerd because it helps normal people. I'm a nerd for planes too. Nah, I can't put it on camera, but yeah. I'm only saying I'm a nerd because I'm just making it easier for normies to, categorize me to their own standard. Anyway, so, oh my gosh, please stop it. All right, so yeah, I don't remember what my last thing I said, but whatever, I don't care. I'm just gonna move on. So yeah, the whole isolation thing, during work, it would just make me thinking. All right, am I a TFLer? If you know what TFLer means, it means true force loner, something like that. That's something like, what I'm trying to say. But true force loner. Am I a TFLer? Like, because all my life, me having this whole Nintendo, Sega obsession, interest and stuff like that, and science interest, specifically Nintendo and Sega, okay, and stuff like that, it was always rejected by all my peers, okay, by both school and at home. That's sad. And at home. I was bullied when I was in elementary school, and just by the things I was like. And I was even bullied at my household during my childhood era about my whole, passion for Nintendo and Sega. I was looked at as very different, okay? Isolated. I didn't ask to like Sonic. It was just cool. Y'all should never brought that video game in. I'm talking about specifically my pre-childhood family. Y'all should have never brought them games in the house. Y'all shouldn't have brought them games out. You should have showed just WWE or something. I don't know. But anyways, I was bullied for all that stuff. And not only that, my childhood elementary school made it clear they want nothing to do with me. I don't want to say this is a race issue, but looking back at it, it feels very indeed prejudicism against, because I was a minority. I was one of the few black kids that was in the school. All right, this is the part I'm gonna have to walk fast now because I gotta head to work. But the whole isolation thing, like, people like me, nerds as normies like to call us, we are extremely isolated, and that's not our fault. We're always deemed us as something is wrong with us because we cannot find no interest or little interest in the stuff they want to do. Like all this drinking, smoking, and listening to all this very weird, wild, I'll say, pop music and all that other stuff. Rap music and stuff like that. It's even worse if you're a black man, if you identify with your skin colors. It's even worse if you're a black man or a black person in general. Like, we are expected to be into rap, hip hop, you know, R&B and all that stuff. And if you're a black person and ain't checking with that, you are completely ostracized from black people. They want nothing to do with you. Oh, you whitewash, you an Oreo, all that stuff. Like, we just expected to just conform, and we don't want to do that. But going back on topic as far as isolation, I kind of have no other choice but to isolate myself, because every single time when I was young, I tried to mix my interests with their interests. Okay, for an example, I had older brothers, my childhood older brothers. They had a huge fascination with, you know, WWE, wrestling, and, you know, wrestling, kickboxing, what's the other one, UFC, and, you know, boxing. It's cool. I liked it. It was cool to see and everything, but I liked Sonic more. It was just better to me. Okay? I wasn't bored by their stuff, but as soon as they played my stuff, try to watch my stuff, they were just extremely bored. Which I'm not going to fault them for that, but at the same time, whenever they wanted to watch some fighting stuff on TV, and not even just my older brothers at the time, my older family, any family member, when they wanted to watch something on TV, I'm crossing streets and everything. Whenever they wanted to watch something on TV about, you know, like sports, you know, fighting stuff, fashion stuff for the ladies and stuff like that, whenever they wanted to watch something, I had to laugh at it and everything and like everything that they wanted to watch. Maybe it's a bad idea to walk through these trucks. I had to like all this stuff. If I didn't, it was an insult to what they liked. But as soon as I like something and want to play, I want to watch Sonic X on TV. I want to watch how the universe works on TV. I want to watch Nova on TV, if you know what that is. This is WTTW11, you know, show. What else? I want to watch space videos, Weather Channel. I don't want to watch that. The attitude I was getting the junk. I don't want to watch that. What's this lame stuff on TV? Turn that off. Oh, watching Sonic stuff again. All that junk. I know I was young. I was a kid during these things. This is a recap after all, but a recap because the other old videos are they're being unlisted, so probably even deleted. But that's the thing. It just makes me think about my past was like that. And at the time, I remember giving up on trying to mix, you know, what we liked and stuff like that. Because, you know, one time because let's use the fighting thing again. They like wrestling and stuff like that. I like it and stuff like that. I liked Bomberman, but they had a specific, in that game Bomberman, they had a specific two-player, multiplayer level called Knockout Battle. And it was a Knockout Battle? It was one of them, but one of the stages, one of the rings was a ring where you fight and stuff like that. You throw bombs and stuff like that. And Bomberman Jetter's childhood game, by the way. Beautiful childhood game. Very Side Leader Ray adventure. But anyways, very Side Leader Ray-esque adventure. But anyways, they didn't like it. Honestly, this is boring, Ray. That hurt my feelings, I remember when I was a kid. I was, I think, 10 years old, whatever. Yeah, around that age. But yeah, that hurt my feelings though, because, you know, I was trying to, you know, but help, you know, be into their stuff through my stuff too. But But anyways, around like 2017, when I remember I played, because I was being more open by the, you know, and less caring, because I thought they were like, you know, the Sonic stuff. I remember I put the Super Mario Bros. Z, the remake at the time, 2016, Super Mario Bros. Z with voice acting and stuff like that on the TV, all large for everybody to see. What's this? Turn that off. The same junk. Like, it made no sense. I know this junk was a long time ago, but it's just making me thinking my entire life. Because yesterday at work, I was not really feeling right, all right? I was feeling kind of stressed out, like, okay, I was bullied for the things I was into in school. That's one. In high school, I'm bullied for that, the same thing. And the same shit is happening, excuse my French, it's even happened to my family then. All right, I'm seeing a pattern. Now I'm an adult. You don't like anything else, Ray? My modern father at the time, my former modern father, he couldn't fathom the fact that I wasn't liking sports. That's what men do. That's what he said. That's what men do. I'm not into it. I'm just not interested. All right, if I am going to be interested in any kind of sports, I'll be playing soccer or playing/watching badminton. That's it. Those are really the only sports I'm into. Everything else, not so much. But what time is it? All right, because I got work. I'm walking to work now. But yeah, it's just crazy, you know. And I guess that was a few years ago. He cannot, and even my modern family at the time cannot understand why in the world am I not conforming to societal norms. So because of that, I was kind of pushed aside, like, okay, Ray, he's just whatever. I'm not gonna, and I've made the full decision. I guess I can fast forward to now. Like, I'm just not gonna bother them about that. And now, what brings to the main point of this video about my whole fan series that I've started in 2018. I don't want to tell a story at all, but I don't want to tell. It's kind of saddened me. And then considering my entire voice cast, because the fan series is fully, side note, you know, it's fully voice act. Okay. In the beginning of that series, I had a pretty large cast, I will say. Pretty large cast, really nice. But now, I mean, obviously, yes, the development times take forever. It's somewhat my fault because I need to write the scripts in time, and I need to draw all the art in time, make all the animations and frames, blah, 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 this, that, and stuff like that. But I don't have the same exact voice cast as I had. My starring cast, I don't know if and by they I mean more than at least 2 people. I don't know if they're still interested. One of them I already know I'm for sure recasting. One of them for sure I know recasting. And recently, yesterday, I was being told to recast by the person doing the voice yesterday, because they just couldn't. They felt like they couldn't do it no more, and that's okay. I'm prepared for recast, but as the actual casting process is a whole nother situation. I'm fine losing. I'm not gonna say I'm fine losing, but you get the point. It just made me think the future of the Side Note series. I just don't know where this is gonna go. Like, it just that's the thing. This whole fan series I make, it's, you know, it's nice. It's what I'm, you know, passionate in is. It's the same, you know, Sonic, Mario, Sega, Nintendo stuff. But, and it's starting to show, even in that, it's showing no interest in it, really. I don't want to say none. I'm not saying that my cast members or my team members are not interested. Don't get me wrong. They worked for me for this long, but eventually, time goes by, and people move on, and that's okay. And it just makes me think. And then considering the production. What I'm trying to say, considering the standards I have for the series. For the series and everything, for the series and stuff like that, I just don't think I can hold this. In conclusion, I don't have the same voice cast of what I had years ago. Especially if I'm trying to contact everybody. Some people may say they're not interested no more. Some people may ghost. I don't know. It's just, that's the thing. Like I said, one recast I'm already ready to do, officially. One recast I'm already officially ready to do. But it just brought me back to every single thing I was interested in. Like, I was always alone in that area. And that area is what it is I was into, okay? And me, because this episode 5 I'm working on, I'm gonna have to do a lot of recasts. But the question is, how will I be able to successfully get these recasts and get it to be as accurate to the concept as much as I can, especially for specific voices. Like, you know how, like, you know, recasting Rick and Morty, you know, how they recast, for that series, they recasted Justin Roiland, and they can't just get any voice. They need to get specific voices. But for the side novel series, the same thing applies with these specific characters, because these are iconic voice-sounding characters. I can't just get any voice. So, and voice casting is pretty hard. That's the most challenging part about this series. But I finally find a conclusion. It just made me think a lot. My dream and my visions and everything, where I don't know the question is, who's on board to do this with me? Who's on board to do this with me? Nothing against my cast at all. Nuh-uh. This ain't about them specifically. This ain't about them even indirectly. I'm just saying, your dreams, what would it take to get your dream out there, okay? Who's on board with you? Who's on board with you and stuff like that? So it just makes me think, how will I be able to make the side novel series? Okay, that's not, I'm not making no money off of this. So I hate to say this, but I can care less about, you know, sleeping on that series or not. But I'm just saying, for the real stuff, for Project WTS, that's the one that I'm very passionate about, because that's my original character. How will I be able to get that done? Who's on board with me? And it's making me wonder, will I actually get Project WTS out? So who will be interested in it? That's the question. That's the game. In conclusion, finally conclusion, on a societal level, the things I'm into, and my coworker even yesterday telling me, because I'm walking on my job right now, because I didn't know a song. He was talking some normal people, mainstream media song, and I was like, "What's that?" I was like, "What?" And he was like, "What kind of music do you listen to?" Mainly Sega and Nintendo. Oh, I have my friend's boyfriend. I don't know why he kept specifying. I hope his friend is a girl, but my friend's boyfriend liked the Sonic the Hedgehog music from Shadow the Hedgehog. He doesn't want to admit he's a nerd, and because of that, I can't fuck with him. That was weird what he said. Well, I told him, well, I'm a nerd. Well, that's good you couldn't admit that. I only say I'm a nerd just so I can help them understand. Now, I'm not personally. I don't like calling myself a nerd. I'm silently right. That's what I am. But I'm talking long enough. That's the gambit. And finally, conclusion. It's not that I am personally isolating myself. However, I'm not going to sit there and try and board people. I'm not going to sit there and try and board people if they're not interested in what I'm interested in. I'm not going to force anything on people, okay? So yeah, I'm not going to beg people to be interested in what I am and what it is I'm interested in. I'm not going to do that, especially normies. I'm not going to force people. If they're not interested, it is what it is. That means, in a sense, I'm being pushed closer to becoming a TFLer, being, lonely, and that sucks. I go to Six Flags by myself all the time, and I'm starting to really feel the loneliness in this, okay, and the isolation in this. So yeah, that's the recap of my "I'm now isolating myself" video. I find no need to delete that video, but it right now is staying unlisted. I'm gonna put old right next to them. Every single recap video from the original style channel, I am putting old next to it once it's recapped. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Welcome to the channel. Like, comment, subscribe.